What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute and I've been wanting to get back on here and I keep pushing it off or having other things to do. You'll hear why in a few minutes. But it's been a bit of a crazy journey this 2021 and I wanted to chat about a few things because I have a lot, going on and a lot on my mind. So right now, it is May 26th and we don't have any power, which is why I'm doing this, because I can't be working, I can't do anything. I'm just, stuck, and I can't watch movies, I can't watch TV, I literally can't do anything. So might as well be chit-chatting with you guys. But let's just say it's been a wild ride of a year. I started off with, right after my last vlog, it was the beginning of February, and February was really rough for me emotionally and like on my mental health. And I don't know if it's because like I had like a high of energy right after Christmas and the engagement, and I was like so excited and had a lot, uplifting elements to that. But then came February, it really started to sit that like I hadn't been able to legally see my family since October 1st, and whether it's the baby thing, whether it's it was a lot of things. February was the 12th month of TTC. For people who don't know what TTC stands for, it means trying to conceive. So that means like it had officially been 12 months, so a year that we were trying. And of course, like that sat on me, and to all the people who say like, oh, like when I'm gonna try for a baby, I'm not gonna think about it and I'm just gonna let it happen. All I have to say to that is I thought that too for a while, and then that thought became more and more overdrawn by like fears and thoughts of like, am I okay? Is he okay? Am I sleeping enough? Am I not sleeping enough? Am I too stressed? Am I not, am I overthinking? Am I underthinking? And in general, the concept of trying for a baby is a very intense journey on your mental health, and you receive all kinds of advice, from everyone, and those advice sometimes hurt because they come from a good place, but they don't hit you in the way that it is intended, should I say? Sorry, I'm French, sometimes I mess it up. But yeah, so people are saying like, don't think about it and it'll happen. But then when I talk to health professionals, they say like it's totally normal that you're thinking about it, because that's what your project is in your life right now. And for the longest time you've wanted to be a mother, but it wasn't the time, or me and my partner were not in the same place. So like, I wanted kids, but he didn't feel like he was there yet, and that's completely okay, and I wanted to respect that. So, I stayed on birth control. And to be honest, if you're in a stable relationship, what I've learned is that you should ask your doctor about going on a non-hormonal birth control once you've been in a long-term relationship, just because the less hormones you have in your body, the better it will be, for a lot of different reasons. I have better sex drive. I know that's TMI, but that's the truth. Way better control of my emotions, and like when it comes to like stress, anxiety, depression, which are all three things that, although I was never diagnosed with those things. So like, I'm just talking out of experience, I guess. I felt all three of those things a lot when I was on birth control. And, you know, although depression is something that I feel like I felt a lot of in 2021 and 2020, and I think that has way more to do with the pandemic and the lack of, you know, social interaction. I'm a very social person, so like, to be confined into almost a room with almost zero contact with the world is not something that I thrive in. And although I am like very much a homebody, like I love being home and I love being in my cozy pajamas, like I could be home in my cozy pajamas with some friends, or, you know, going over to my parents' house, you know, dressed cash and like having a little board night, and like, you know, it doesn't have to be like a club or a bar or going crazy all the time. I like, you know, little toned down, little cozy, casual things. And it's been a long year, a long 2 years of none of that. And it really took a toll on me in February. And then end of February, I actually lost my job, which obviously was also a big detrimental thing in that month. And although I was upset, I wasn't even surprised, because I had been feeling like my job was on, you know, holding on by a thread for some time, and I knew it. So when it happened, I was upset, but I wasn't surprised or anything. Like, it was like, okay. And I had to go do interviews, and going back into interviews after 2.5 years was weird, and in a pandemic where I'm doing Zooms and stuff like that, it was strange. But in the end, it went well, and I am in a new place now and still adjusting to that. And on the fertility aspect of things, I haven't spoken too much about it because people are so vicious when it comes to fertility. So I've had people say to me things like, you should focus on other things right now. And I find that very cruel of a thing to say to someone who's just looking for a bit of hope or a bit of encouragement when trying for a baby, while like, you would never say that to somebody who's expecting a child and be like, you're talking about your pregnancy too much, you can stop talking about it. Or like, oh, she's talking about her baby so much, she should talk about other things. Or like, oh, this girl's about to get married, she's talking about her wedding so much, she should stop talking about it. Like, I never hear people really say those things. Like, you just hear like, oh, I'm so excited for your baby, and like all the moms always say, like, all the people care about is the baby. That's all people want you to talk about. And you know, like, I know people who are getting married who talk about their weddings all the time, or their plans for their wedding, and I'm so excited and I'm so happy for them. And it makes me so mad / sad that I don't feel like I receive as not even close to the same amount of love and encouragement and support when it comes to what my current life project is. And yes, I could focus on other things. I'm engaged, I could focus on a wedding. You know, I don't want to be even bothering to stress myself out about a wedding in a pandemic. Like, there's already so much going on in this world. The last thing I need is to stress myself out about something that's not even allowed right now. Like, legally, not a wedding like I would want anyways. So that's not even, you know, a point of discussion, because I want a quote-unquote normal wedding. Whatever is that gonna look like in the future is hard to tell right now. But hit the camera. But I don't want to worry myself out about something like a wedding. And, you know, fertility is a very tricky road of, you know, rolling the dice and hoping for the best outcome. But it's kind of like the lottery, you know, you never know. And there's all kinds of statistics on whether, you know, even two adults in perfect health, in the perfect timing and date and opportunity and whatever, the highest chance of conception is something like 33%. And in the first year off of birth control, when like me, you've never changed birth control, you've been on the same drugs for 10 years, where my body never learned how to make an egg for 10 years, considering I started the pill when I was like 15, 16, it's even worse, because like I don't even know if my uterus was even properly developed at the time I started taking this, you know, because I had only had my period for like a year or so when I started the pill. So like you don't even realize those things when you start birth control, and then 10 years down the drain you're like, oh, that's fun. And you know, I'm happy for all the good times that I got that I didn't get pregnant for when I wasn't ready and when I didn't want a baby yet, you know, it's fine. But now in retrospect, I'm like, wow, it's pretty, you know, crazy. And also, like, it's not like I have a huge history of infertility in my family and a lot of resource, because, you know, my sister got pregnant twice in a row, almost by mistake, like in the sense that like she was like not protected, so like she knew. But it's not like she's like me, where she was, you know, actually actively trying and looking for her ovulation dates and doing ovulation tests and doing all the things. She wasn't doing any of that. And she just got pregnant. And my mom got pregnant 4 times in a row, technically 5 times in a row, you know, first time try or almost. So but granted, big difference between me, my sister, and my mom is my sister was on different birth controls and whatnot, and my mother was actually on a IUD that was non-hormonal, so she actually never had the withdrawal that I'm going through right now. And that could make a huge difference on why she didn't have a hard time and I am. And although it's like they say, like it's statistically not proven or scientifically not proven that birth control can have an effect on fertility, and or, you know, long-term birth control and whatever, the doctors that I have spoken to have said like it is quite often though that people who've been on the exact same medication for all these years in a row without ever changing prescription, ever changing dosage, ever changing nothing, it is harder for your body to readapt to, you know, normal fertility status, because it hasn't done it for such a long time, and it never got triggered to do it even within those 10 years. You know, like when you change birth control, sometimes you have to like wait a certain amount of time between packs and stuff like that. So like it can, I guess, make a difference. Whereas me, like it was just like same thing for 10 years, constant, like no changes. And I don't know, like I don't have all the answers. Obviously, I spoke to a health professional and he said to get on a waiting list now because the waiting time is about a year. So, you know, worst case, I won't need it. Best scenario is I'm gonna get answers if I still do need it in a year from now, which is like kind of horrifying to think that like it's a whole other year. But at the same time, not to discourage me or anybody else who's going through this, if you stumble upon this video, They do say that the second year you have a better chance, because now like you've given your body like a whole year off of these drugs and pills and whatever. So it can really make a something useful or helpful to your body. It could be like my progesterone. I don't know all the terms and whatnot, but like could be a lot of different things that are causing this to happen. Some of them are very easily fixed, and some of them are way more complicated. So, you know, we shall see what the world has to offer, and you know, it is what it is. I am a little bit more hopeful this month for whatever reason than I was in the past few months. And it's actually funny because since October, in October is when I hit a year without the pill. And from October all the way to this month, May, I stopped ovulation testing. I stopped checking the apps. I stopped doing all of that. I was like, no, I'm gonna follow that advice of like, don't think about it and it'll happen. And it only made me more miserable, because it made me feel like I wasn't even, like I didn't care anymore, or like I was forcing myself not to care, or like I was forcing myself to believe in something that wasn't gonna happen, that wasn't happening. And every month it was like trying to convince myself that Santa Claus exists, you know? Like it was like the most excruciating, painful part of this journey was caused by trying so desperately to follow that advice of not thinking about it. And not thinking about it only made me sadder. So, after speaking to a health specialist, a doctor, and I took that, I put my name on a waiting list for a year from now, and he gave me like a few little tips and tricks of like things that I can try for now. Sounds very silly, but you know, true. Things like pre-seed or supplements, or you know, any kind of information that I can gather for now. He said like I could just like take an appointment at the regular doctors and ask for a blood drawn, and like ask to test my progesterone and my vitamin D. Apparently those two things can make a difference. Like I'm not a doctor, I don't know anything, but you know, I gather all the information that I can. And that's about it, I guess. So I guess that's my update for now. I don't have much more information on that subject specifically. Sorry, my phone died when I was recording the last clip, so sorry about that. Sorry for the weird cutoff. But yeah, if you are a woman and you are trying to conceive, I am on month 14th or 15th or something like that. Me and my future hubby have been together for almost 10 years. The 10-year anniversary is coming up in July on the 18th. And, you know, we're just trying to see if, you know, we can make it happen, hopefully within 2021. And, you know, just keeping my hopes up. And I hope if you are struggling with this right now, that you keep your hopes up too. The battle's not lost. It's just the shitty part of it is now, and there's gonna be way different other challenges when it's a pregnancy, or when it's a baby, or when it's a toddler or a child. You know, there's gonna be challenges in every step of this journey and of the way, and this is just one of them. And God bless all of those who don't struggle through this. And I don't wish it upon literally anyone. It's the shittiest feeling and the most challenging thing for your brain when, like, all my life I've always wanted to be a mom. So, like, for me to, not know if that's going to be possible is quite the thought. But gotta stay hopeful. And I hope that you enjoyed this little update. And I will talk to you guys very soon.